Sanhedrin General Introduction. Judges and officers, you shall appoint for yourself in all your gates that Hashem your God is giving you according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people a righteous judgment. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18. The Jewish nation is commanded to set up a system of courts to judge the people. This system includes different types of courts, each with its own level of authority. The court of Torah law is known as a Beis Din, literally a house of law. A Beis Din consists of a group of judges who hear and decide all cases. No jury exists in Jewish law. The judges who try the cases also question the witnesses, weigh the evidence and legal arguments, and hand down both the verdict and the sentence. When the judges disagree, a majority of one is enough to decide the law. In capital cases, though, a majority of at least two is required to find the defendant guilty. See the Mishnahs in Chapter 1, Mishnah 6, and Chapter 4, Mishnah 1. Part 1, the courts. There are 3 levels of courts, each with a different number of judges. The larger the court, the more authority it has. A. Court of 3. The lowest level court consists of 3 judges. Such a court deals with ordinary monetary claims, loans, thefts, personal injury, property damage, and the like. B. Court of 23. Lesser Sanhedrin. The next level is a court of 23 judges, also known as a lesser or lower Sanhedrin. These courts hear capital cases. Courts of 23 were appointed for any town in the land of Israel that has a certain minimum number of inhabitants. See Mishnah in Chapter 1, Mishnah 6. C. Court of 71, the Great Sanhedrin. The highest court of the land, which is known as the Great Sanhedrin, has 71 judges. It tries capital cases that are beyond the jurisdiction of the lower Sanhedrins, such as judging a false prophet, or a town whose residents have been persuaded to worship idols. It is also the final authority on all questions of Torah law, whether civil, criminal, or religious. Its decisions are binding on all the lower courts. This court also deals with matters that affect the nation as a whole, such as setting the Jewish calendar, expanding the legal limits of walled cities, where these limits have legal consequences, and declaring war. The Great Sanhedrin is also responsible for appointing the judges of the lower Sanhedrins. The seat of the Great Sanhedrin was in the temple in a chamber known as the Chamber of Hewn Stone. Part 2. Judges. A. General qualifications. Only a person of excellent character is fit to be a judge in any court. He must be a wise, humble, and God-fearing man, who dislikes money, loves the truth, loves people, and has a good reputation. See Rambam, Hilchos Sanhedrin 2:7. Judges for a Sanhedrin have to possess great wisdom and intelligence. They must be outstanding in their knowledge of Torah, and must also have some knowledge of other subjects, such as medicine, mathematics, and the like. See Rambam there 2:1. B. Smicha. To serve on a Sanhedrin, a judge must be ordained with smicha. Smicha is also needed to serve on a court of 3 judges in a case that involves a monetary penalty. See below section 4a. Smicha is a unique form of ordination dating back to Moshe, who received it from God. This ordination was passed down from teacher to student in an unbroken chain until it ceased toward the end of the 4th century of the Common Era. Smicha can be bestowed only in Eretz Yisrael. When the persecution of the Jewish nation by the Roman authorities drove most of the people out of the land, and places of higher learning were shut down, the institution of smicha came to an end. The Mishnayos in this tractate, however, were written several centuries before this period, when smicha still existed. C. Disqualifications. A person is disqualified from serving as a judge if he has been found guilty of theft or any transgression for the purpose of monetary gain. He is also disqualified if he is a relative of the accused, or of one of the litigants or witnesses, or of a fellow judge. See Choshen Mishpat 7:9. Part 3. Witnesses. A. Number of witnesses. A person cannot be sentenced to execution or malchus, see below section Part 4b, unless at least 2 witnesses testify to his crime. A similar rule holds true for monetary cases. A person claiming something from another cannot collect payment in court unless 2 witnesses testify that his claim is true. There are some instances in which the testimony of a single witness is accepted. These include testimony to prove that a man has died so that his widow may remarry. Also, matters of purely religious law, such as whether an animal was properly slaughtered and its meat is kosher, can be decided based on the testimony of just one witness. B. Qualifications. Like judges, witnesses are disqualified if they have committed a theft or any transgression for the purpose of monetary gain. Witnesses are disqualified from testifying about their close relatives, whether in their favor or against them. The witnesses may also not be relatives of each other. Part 4. Punishments. A. Monetary penalties. Certain types of property crimes and damages are punishable by monetary penalties. Thus, for example, a person convicted of theft is required to repay the victim twice the value of what he stole, and under certain circumstances, as much as 4 or 5 times the value of the theft. A penalty is defined as any payment that does not reflect the actual amount of damage or loss. B. Malchus, lashes. This punishment consists of 39 lashes. Most of the negative commandments of the Torah are subject to this penalty. C. Death penalties. There are 4 methods of execution prescribed by the Torah. These are, in descending order of harshness: 1. Stoning. The condemned man is pushed from a height. If this does not kill him, a heavy rock is dropped on him. 2. Burning. Molten lead is poured down the throat of the condemned, burning his insides immediately. 3. Beheading. The condemned is decapitated with a sword. 4. Strangulation. The condemned is strangled with a rope. The details of these methods of execution and the offenses for which each is imposed form the subject of the second half of the Tractate. See chapters 6 to 11. A person may not be punished with death, or malchus, which is lashes, unless someone warned him just before he sinned. Do not do this, because the court will put you to death for it, or give you malchus for it. And he replied, I know, but I will do it anyway. And then he committed the sin within a few seconds of the warning. Thus, only someone who has declared himself ready to die may be put to death. See Rambam, Hilchos Sanhedrin 12:2. The Torah commands judges to do all they can to avoid carrying out the death penalty. See Numbers chapter 35, verse 25. For this reason, a number of laws were passed that make it difficult for the defendant to be found guilty. These laws are outlined in chapters 4 and 5. In practice, it was so hard to get a conviction that a Sanhedrin that put someone to death even once in 7 years was called a destroyer. Some say that a Sanhedrin should not give the death penalty more than once in 70 years, and some say that a court should never give the death penalty. See Makos chapter 1, Mishnah 10, and the Meiri there.